promoting my new channel, my first channel by myself, and the channel is called Unpredictable Me. You never know what unpredictable foods I'm going to come up with making. And today I have veggie tacos. I got rice, bell peppers, and onions on lettuce with taco seasoning. And I also got fresh kale chips that I made myself, seasoned. And I got Keisha's ranch dip that she made the other day. And I put a little hot sauce and lime juice to flavor it a little bit. Now I got my limeade. Now I'm about to do the countdown for my first bite. 3, 2, 1, let's eat. So today, you guys, the theme for the food that I made, I call it Weird Wednesday, just because I put it together at the last minute. So that's why I call it Weird Wednesday, because I normally would not thought of making lettuce as a taco shell. But this is actually pretty good. For this next taco, you guys, I'm going to try it with the ranch dip and see how that tastes. It kind of looks like something you'd see at the grocery store, like at the salad bars. If you look at it, check it out. Doesn't that look pretty, you guys? It looks pretty and it tastes delicious too. So you guys, this is my first meal that I made by myself, fresh from Keisha's kitchen. I'm so excited to be eating it. So how's your day going? What'd you guys eat today? Go ahead and put in the comments below what you guys are eating today. Now, I'm gonna try my kale chips and see how they came out, because I have not made kale chips in so long. I'm gonna dip it in the range and see how that tastes. Check you guys, homemade kale chips. And they're spicy too, so it'll give it a little kick to it. So today in Chicago, this afternoon it was mostly raining. So I think today I got the best sleep I've gotten in so long. Today I got like 12 hours of sleep. I've not had 12 hours of sleep since probably last winter. That's one thing I like about the fall and the winter is when it gets colder out. It's just weather that you want to sleep. In the summer it's hot, and sometimes your air conditioner doesn't always work. But in this house, when it's cold outside, it's freezing cold inside. And I sleep the best when I'm freezing. I'm done with my first 4 tacos, you guys. And this taco is kind of falling apart, as you can tell. But your girl Amber is keeping it together. Look at that. So today, you guys, I got to see pictures, like old pictures of Keisha and Junior when they were young. Trying to put together pictures for the tag video that Shamika from As the Tube Turns tagged us in. It was fun for me watching pictures of Junior and Keisha from back in the day. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures since I moved in, because when I moved out of my grandma's house, I left a lot of stuff behind. I didn't even think to ask to bring the photo album with me. But before I moved out, I sort of had well, when I moved out and moved in with Keisha and Junior, I sort of had a little bit of falling out with my family. About a month ago, I tried calling them just to see how they were doing. And so my dad tells me that I asked him, "Do you still go to family parties?" And he said to me, he's like, "Me and your brother don't go to family parties anymore to see your relatives, because they decide they want nothing to do with us." And I was actually shocked by that, because as much as my grandma and my mom have like pride themselves on pretty much being family oriented and keeping everybody together, it's weird. It's like when my mom died, the family was like technically still together, because my grandma would be the one to always ask everybody, like, can me and Amber, her brother, and her father go to the next party coming up? And so my cousins, they weren't going to say no to my grandma, so they'd always be like, "Yeah, you can come by." But then it's like once she passed away, it's like everybody just went on their merry way. And I was surprised by that. I was surprised just by the fact that just because I moved out and decided to be an adult, that my family just wanted nothing to do with my dad and my brother. Like as if they expect me to just live with them forever. Like when I moved out, I basically decided to move out because my dad was already dealing with enough drama as it was with my brother, because he kind of he's got real bad anger issues. My brother, he has both he has ADD and bipolar disorder. And on top of it, he kind of has, he's in and out of rehab. Like, he deals with painkiller, both weed and painkiller addiction, and it's like, it's just like he's just unpredictable. Like, one day he could be in a good mood, another day he'll just flip out. So I just decided, like, when my grandma decided to sell her house, I decided I was gonna move in with Keisha Jr. I decided I think I'd rather live with friends than to live with family, because it wasn't working out. Because, like, sometimes with family, you can love them from the bottom of your heart, but you just can't live together. Like, some people are just not meant to live together. Like, for example, when I was living with my parents, I could never get my brother to do me a favor, like drive me anywhere, unless I paid him. Like, he was one of those people, like, he'll drive his friends around for free, but then if it's a family member that needs a ride somewhere, they gotta pay him $20 to $40 for gas. At the time, we lived in the same house, so I used to get annoyed by that. Like, so, like, living in my parents' house, it was kind of like those commercials you'd see where you'd see, like, the teenage white boy, and they'd be talking about drug commercials, where they would show all the things that they confessed that they did when they were high. Like, for example, this one kid said, "I broke my little sister's piggy bank and stole her money." That was a lot like how it was in my parents' house. I could not have a piggy bank in my bedroom, or anywhere in my room for that matter, because otherwise my piggy bank would get robbed from my older brother. Because in my house there was, like, it was just no discipline, no structure. Like, the only discipline there was is my mom screaming at us, or playing referee every time me and my brother decided to get into it and fight. She'd always jump in the middle and play referee because she didn't want us killing each other. Like, a lot of times I look at people, like, that have two sisters, or I look at, like, siblings, and I always think to myself, like, I wish I had what they had. Like, I think it's amazing if you got that sibling that's like your best friend or someone that you could just bond with and talk to about anything. I never had that because, like, with me it was more like my sibling and I were 6 years apart. We had nothing in common. We're like two opposites, like night and day. Like, it's almost like if we were twins, our personality, people that know us say that we're a lot alike. But I would say, if we were twins, I was the nice one. My sibling was like the evil one. Like Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, me and him just don't, like, me and my brother, we don't talk anymore. Because the last time I gave him my number, he would just try to get me into whatever drama he had going on between him and his girlfriend. And I would tell him, like, you're grown. Whatever you got going on with you and your girlfriend, that's not my business. We don't live in the same house. Just like, for example, if I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't be telling my family what goes on. Unless, of course, it gets out of hand and it's, my girlfriend's abusive, then yeah, I'm going to get my family involved. But if it's just like me and her arguing or a breakup, if I feel like talking about it with my family, then I'll talk about it with them. Otherwise, I've just always been like a very, like, with my family, I've always been like very tight-lipped, like didn't want to tell them anything. Like anything bad news related, they never wanted to hear. So they were pretty much the type of people where I couldn't always talk to them or express my feelings. So the other day, Keisha we made a video together. And the topic was talking about people that feel alone. Well, I could kind of relate to that. Because when I was growing up, I had one best friend. But the thing is, my best friend, it's like we used to fight a lot. Like, it's like 1 week we were best friends, another week we hated each other. But because I did not want to be home on the weekend, I would go visit my best friend. And I was there, like, so much. Because anytime my mom would have to work on Saturdays, I would get up at 5 in the morning. At 7 in the morning, she'd drop me off on Saturdays to my friend's house. And I'd be there from like Friday night through Sunday night. So my friend's mom says, she sees me sleeping in the room. She comes in the room to check on her daughters. Sees me sleeping on the floor. And she says to her husband, she's like, why don't we just adopt her already? She's here all the time. She's like, there's not a weekend that Amber's not here. She's like, she always wants to be here. Well, why don't we just sign the adoption papers and take her in? And part of me was thinking I would like that, but then the other part was thinking no, just because the only reason I let this girl's family adopt me is because my mom, she used to spoil the heck out of me when I was a kid. Like, anytime I wanted something, she'd get it. Like, during high school, I think I had about 30 to 50 pairs of shoes in my closet. Like, it's like anytime I aced a test, my mom would be proud of me and she would take me to the store and like reward me with like shoes or clothes. Or anytime I lost a ton of weight, she'd take me on a shopping spree. But when I was a kid, I felt like I was alone because when I graduated 8th grade, my mom, she wanted me to stop being friends with the girl I was just telling you about, because every time I go to this girl's house every weekend, I'd be asking my mom for like $40. So me and my friend could go to the movies or order a pizza. And she would just get annoyed by that. Like, she would get annoyed by having to drive me all the way 30 minutes away to go to this girl's house on the day she's got to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. The day that I had to stop being friends with her, I think I was, the only reason we stopped being friends is because we were both fighting over a boy. That's how it started. And I just up and decided that we need to go our separate ways. So me and her just stopped talking by the time we got into like freshman year, because we both went to separate high schools. But I did not realize like how much I missed her until freshman year, the first day of school, when I was having trouble finding my classes. And my first class, I walk into class, and I think I was an hour and a half late to class because I read my class schedule. To me, it didn't make sense, and I could not figure out how to read it in order. It was just embarrassing walking into a class with everybody staring at you like you lost your mind because you came late and everybody else was there on time. And you're just standing there looking for a seat, looking lost as hell. So first day of school, I reunited with one of my old friends that I hadn't seen since like day camp when we were younger. She recognized me because her brother was friends with my brother. And so she was probably the first person that I talked to my first week of freshman year. So it's always nice to see a familiar face. Especially when you go to high school and you end up seeing people that you haven't seen in like at least 5 years. And they end up recognizing you. That's like a good thing and a bad thing. Because there was this one girl. She told everybody about this embarrassing moment that I had back in summer camp. And the embarrassing moment was about 6 years old. And we're all in my class. We're all at the pool. And it was basically swim lessons. But in the morning it's swim lessons. And then later in like the afternoon after lunchtime, it was more like free swim. So during like the 2 hours of free swim hours, by the time like our time was up and we had to go back on the school bus, I did not want to walk. At the time I was so lazy. I did not want to walk my butt all the way to the locker room to get out of my bathing suit. And I'm like right behind the fence, and everybody's like, their back was turned towards me. And as a kid, I didn't really think or calculate what would happen if I took my bathing suit off and how fast it would take me to take it off and put my clothes on. So I'm outside, and it's like an area it's like a gated area with grass, and everybody's got their towels down and their stuff. At the time, I'm thinking like, at the time I wasn't even thinking at all. I just was thinking, I don't want to get on the bus in this wet-ass bathing suit. So my silly self just takes the bathing suit off and then decides to try to put my clothes on. And the minute I was halfway and the minute I took off my bathing suit, had my underwear on, two people just crowd up, just run up on me and put a towel around me like they were trying to, like they felt bad for me. And were trying to help me get dressed, meaning like, just put a towel around me while I got dressed. That was probably the most embarrassing. Well, not really embarrassing, but it wasn't embarrassing until like years later when people brought it up. Because like when they brought it up in high school, I would say to them like, I'd lie and be like, I was only 5 years old when I did that. I didn't know no better. I just knew I just did not want to get on the school bus with a wet bathing suit on. But if I were to ask anyone else this story, they will tell it completely different. Like they will lie and say that I ran naked and jumped in the pool and lifeguards had to chase me. No, that did not happen. It was more like me not wanting to get on the bus in a wet bathing suit, just because I pretty much did something I would have done as an adult. Had one of my lazy moments, didn't want to walk to the locker room because it was like 100 degrees outside. I forgot my sandals, and the concrete was extremely hot. It was like touching hot lava, and I didn't feel like walking all that way, so I figured I'd just get dressed as fast as I could. But that didn't happen. Nope, that was an embarrassing moment. But then a year later, another girl did that same exact thing. And I thought it was funny, because I'm thinking like, wow, I'm not the only one that has this thought process. I'm not the only one that didn't want to walk to no locker room and just wanted to get dressed right where I was.